Singapore ranks second behind Sweden in the recently released Global Information and Technology Report, published by INSEAD and the World Economic Forum, that assesses countries on its abilities to leverage information and communications technologies. We're joined on INSEAD Knowledge today by Mr. James Kang, who is the Assistant Chief Executive of the Infocomm Development Authority of Singapore, to tell us more about what's working for Singapore. Welcome to INSEAD Knowledge.
Thank you.
Since the rankings were first published 11 years ago, Singapore has worked its way up to the number 2 spot and has been a relatively consistent performer. IDA serves as the sector regulator here. What sort of investment and initiative did this require?
Well, I think for a start, we always look long term. And so when we invest, we make sure that the fundamentals are there. We invested heavily in the infrastructure. The national broadband, for example, we put $1 billion in as grants, and we took a lot of effort and time to ensure that the architecture is correctly done. So there's level playing field for everybody, which is important if you want to spur innovation and usage. The second one is somehow in Singapore, we managed to overcome the challenge of getting organizations and people to work together. So over the years, we have put in place a collaborative framework as well as a governance structure to ensure that complicated and complex projects that spans across many agencies, even the whole of government, can be successfully implemented. And right now we are extending this collaboration from government to the private sector and the citizens, as well as to international countries.
Singapore is often described as a great place to do business, but an area for improvement that comes up is its capacity for innovation. What is IDA doing to stimulate innovation?
Right. I think in this knowledge world and a rapidly changing landscape, innovation has become a very key instrument in competitive advantage. And it is a challenging task because if you want good innovation, you have to attract the best people. So our strategy here is to look at it holistically. One of our strengths is that we are able to generate sophisticated demand. So we also have to look at the supply side. Of course, in the long term, it boils down to education to ensure that the workforce of tomorrow are adequately trained, educated, and that means introducing innovation right at a very early age. We also try to attract talent from overseas. Being a natural hub, with all our infrastructure, basically from telecom to the trade hubs and even a trusted and secure place. Many multinationals as well as promising new companies are locating here. And that they bring along a natural pool of talents and also bring along new opportunities to do very innovative work. And I think that would also help to sort of act as a catalyst to grow that pool of talent that can do useful innovation that will help position Singapore at a much higher competitive advantage in this area.
IDA is more than halfway through a 10-year master plan to grow its Infocomm sector. What are you focusing on today?
Well, the Infocomm industry is changing very fast. So there are obviously very new technology breakthroughs. They are offering a lot of potential and promises. So we recognize, for example, in the cloud space, it's changing the way companies and organizations and even governments manage their ICT. So that's where this one area where we are attracting a lot of businesses to come and hub in Singapore. And as you know, in the Internet of Things right now, the proliferation of what I call metadata through sensors and all that. It's just exploding. Something different from maybe say 10 years ago, and now the amount of data collected is just exponentially growing. So the business analytics will come in, and here we recognize again another huge growth area. So we will look at all these promising areas, and again we will ensure that there's long-term investment, there's incentive for the right players to come in, and we will even restructure our education training to make sure we produce the right kind of people that will be of use in tomorrow rather than today.
Mr. Kang, thank you for joining us on INSEAD Knowledge.
Thank you, and you're most welcome.